Next topic is derecognition of financial instrument. According to the conceptual framework, derecognition normally occurs when the entity loses the control of asset or has no present obligation for liability. Accounting for derecognition should faithfully represent the change in entity's net asset as well as assets or liability retained. This is achieved by derecognizing any transferred, expired or consumed component, recognizing a gain or loss on the above, and recognizing any retained component. Sometimes an entity might appear to have transferred an asset or liability. However, derecognition would not be appropriate if exposure to the variation in the element's economic benefit is retained. In order to simplify, if a risk and reward of a certain item or instrument is retained, then it is not a derecognition. So it's not a transfer, so no derecognition. As you will see, IFRS 9 is consistent with the conceptual framework with the issue of derecognition. A financial asset should be derecognized if one of the following has occurred: contractual rights have expired, or second, the financial asset has been sold and substantially all the risk and reward of ownership has been transferred from seller to the buyer. If an entity retains this is the explanation. If an entity has retained substantially all the risk and reward of a financial asset, then it would not be derecognized even if it has legally sold to another entity. A financial liability should be derecognized when the obligation is discharged, cancelled, or expires. The accounting treatment of derecognition is as follows. The difference between the carrying amount of asset or liability and the amount received or paid for it should be recognized in profit or loss for the period. For investment in equity instrument held at fair value through other comprehensive income, the cumulative gain and losses recognized in other comprehensive income are not reclassified to profit or loss on disposal. For investment in debt instruments held at fair value through other comprehensive income, the cumulative gain and losses recognized in other comprehensive income are reclassified to profit and loss on disposal. Investment in equity is not reclassified to profit and loss, whereas investment in debt is reclassified to profit and loss. 9. Moving to the very important topic, derivatives. Derivative is a financial instrument with the following characteristics. 1. If its value change in response to the change in specified interest rate, security price, commodity price, foreign exchange rate, index of price or rates, credit rating or credit index or similar called underlying. Second, it requires little or no initial investment relative to other types of contract that have a similar response to change in market condition. It is settled at a future date. A contract to buy or sell non-financial items such as inventory or property, plant and equipment is only a derivative if it can be settled net in cash using another financial asset and the contract was not entered into the purpose of receipt or delivery of the item to meet entity's operating requirement. So to simplify it, derivative have three characteristics. Future value depend upon number of underlying variables. Second, initial value is nil or nominal or very minimal. And third, it is a non-executory contract settled in cash. So IFRS 9 says that a contract to buy or sell a non-financial item like inventory, property, plant and equipment that is considered to be settled net in cash when we are going to consider that a contract is going to be settled net in cash when the terms of the contract permit either party to settle the contract net. Second, the entity has a practice of settling the similar contract net. Third, the entity for a similar contract has a practice of taking delivery of the items and then quickly selling it in order to benefit from the fair value changes. Fourth, the non-financial item is readily convertible into cash. To summarize all these 4 points, a non-financial item contract, however, how we are going to gauge that it is going to be settled in cash. First, the contract terms give permission to either party to settle the contract in net. Second, the entity has a past practice of settling similar contract. Third, this entity has a practice of taking the delivery of item and quickly selling it to benefit from the fair value changes. And fourth, it is the financial item for which, on the basis of which we are doing the contract, is readily convertible to cash. If a contract is not a derivative, then it is a simple executory contract. Such contracts are not normally accounted for until the sale or purchase date. Now, derivative in finance are securities whose price is dependent on one or more of the underlying variables like options, futures, swaps. These are examples of derivative. A derivative contract will or may be settled by exchange of variable amount of cash for a fixed number of instruments. So, common types of derivative are forward contract, future contract, swaps, and option. First is forward contract. Forward contract has obligation to buy or sell a specified quantity of underlying asset at a fixed price. Means specified quantity we have to either buy or sell at a fixed price in future. Future contract is they have a standard term and are traded on financial exchange. They are similar to forward contract, but they are similar to forward contract. The only difference is they are traded on exchange. They have their own markets. They are marketables and they are bought and sold in a similar way like forward contract. Swap is exchange the interest rate from floating to fixed or vice versa. We are going to change the interest rate. Option is right to buy, right, but not obligation to settle the contract. Option is right but not obligation to settle the contract. 2 terms are more important in it. Call option is right to buy, put option is right to sell. Derivatives are used for hedging or speculation purpose. The derivatives used for hedging purpose will be accounted using hedge accounting, and derivative used for speculation purpose will be measured using fair value through P&L. Now, measurement of derivatives for speculation. On the initial recognition, derivatives are measured at fair value. Transaction costs are expensed to profit and loss. At the reporting date, derivatives are remeasured to fair value with any changes in fair value recognized in P&L. Transaction cost is expensed out. Equity instrument. Now, we are going to discuss equity instrument. Equity instrument is any contract that is evidenced as a residual interest in the assets of an entity after deducting all of its liability. Now, entity own equity instrument contract. A contract result in the receipt or delivery of entity's own share is not automatically an equity instrument. The classification depends upon so-called fixed test in IS 32. A contract which will be settled by entity receiving or delivering a fixed number of its own equity instrument in exchange of fixed amount of cash is an equity instrument. Simplifying this, if entity is receiving or delivering fixed number of its own equity instrument in exchange for fixed amount of cash is an equity instrument. Fixed number of delivering or receiving fixed number of shares for fixed number of amount of cash is an equity instrument. In contrast, if amount of cash or own equity instrument to be delivered or received is variable, the contract is a financial liability or asset. And why? Because such contract does not evidence a residual interest in entity's net assets. So IS 32 exam gives two examples where number of own equity instrument to be received or delivered varies, so the fair value equals to the amount of contractual right. Other factors which might result in an instrument being classified as debt. So these factors, if are present in a contract, then it could be a debt, a financial liability. Dividend are non-discretionary, or I can simply say dividend is compulsory. So in equity, dividend is not compulsory. Second, redemption is at the option of instrument holder. Redemption is at the option of instrument holder. Third, instrument has a limited life. Shares have unlimited life. Life is equals to the life of a company. Fourth, redemption is triggered by future uncertain event which is beyond the control of both issuer and holder of instrument. Other factors which might result in instrument being classified as equity include dividend are discretionary of management, shares are non-redeemable, there is no liquidation date. Now the next important topic is significance of debt or equity classification for the financial statement. Classification of a financial instrument either as debt or equity can have a significant impact on entities reporting earning and gearing ratio, which in turn can affect debt covenants. A company may wish to classify financial instrument as equity in order to give a favorable impression of gearing, but this can have a negative impact on the dilution of earning per share (EPS). Classification as liability means payment are treated as interest and charged to P&L, which in turn can affect entity ability to pay dividend. Means interest expense is going to reduce the profit, so it is going to be another aspect reducing the profit. Now the next topic is the classification and differences between debt and equity. It is not always easy to distinguish between debt and equity. Classification is based on the principle rather than the perception of user. It must first be established that an instrument is not a financial liability or a debt before it can be classified as equity. A financial instrument is an equity instrument only if there is no obligation to deliver cash or other financial asset, and if the instrument will or may be settled in the issuer own equity instruments. Instrument may be classified as equity instrument if it contains a contingent settlement provision requiring settlement in cash or a variable number of entities own shares only on the occurrence of an event which is unlikely to occur. Such a provision is not considered to be a genuine. If contingent payment condition is beyond the control of both the entity, then instrument is classified as a financial liability. The moral of this entire classification is debt and equity classification is not only dependent on the definition, it is the matter of substance or economic reality. Interest, dividend, losses and gain, these relating to a financial instrument follow the treatment of instrument itself. Dividend paid for preference share is classified as liability and will be charged as a financial expense in P&L. Dividend paid or shares classified equity will be reported in statement of changes of equity. Offsetting. There, IS 32 states that financial asset and financial liability may only be offset in very limited circumstances. Two circumstances are: one is entity has legally enforceable right to set off the amount, and the second is intends to settle on net basis or to realize asset and liability simultaneously. Okay, derecognition of financial asset. An entity derecognizes financial asset when first the contractual right to receive cash flow from financial asset expires. Second, the entity sale or transfer the financial asset and the transfer qualify for derecognition, means risk and reward is transfer. means both conditions are together make the derecognition of financial asset. First, contractual right to receive cash flow from financial asset expires, and the second is transfer or sale of financial asset.